talking again with our friend James Bell from General Motors, talking about a new consumer study that just came out about how people are looking into online and other options to look for cars when they are decided to finally make that decision. How are you, James?
Excellent, Javier. Thanks so much for having me on.
So is this another study like the ones we saw on medicine? Like they say 1 week they say that a glass of wine is good for you, and the next week they say this like 2 glasses are good, and then the third week it says like no wine is good for you. Or this is like a really true study that says like this is forever. I mean, there are so many studies, right?
Well, I think the trend is definitely is on. No matter what the latest numbers are, the fact is that we do so much of our business now online, whether it's booking travel or banking or buying your car insurance online. It doesn't make sense that many people would not use the internet for shopping as well. And so we're starting to see more and more impact of that. In fact, I'll tell you something. If you're under the age of 24...
Oh, yeah, I am. I am under the...
Listen. I know you well, my friend. I think I'm older than you, but not by much, and I'm not 24.
Okay.
But anyway, the study has said that if you're under the age of 24, the idea of not using the internet is as crazy as you and I think about not watching a color TV.
Wow.
It just doesn't make sense. And so for younger buyers who are starting to come into the car buying space, then obviously the internet is, they see it automatically as a part of that process. And older buyers too. There's just too many bad stories of people being taken advantage of or not having a good experience. And so, obviously it's all about doing the right research before you ever go into the dealership.
So yeah, in this case, this study is here to stay. I mean, the results of the study are here to stay. One thing that really struck me out, this study was done by Autotrader, right?
Sorry, can you say you broke up a little bit?
Yeah, this study was done by Autotrader, and the thing that really struck me is that only 17 out of 4,002 people that were asked about this trust the current buying process. I mean, that's like really tells you a lot.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. I mean, people, you also saw in that survey were saying that they would do their research online and then they would arrive at the dealership, speak to the salesperson, and realize that they knew more about it than the salesperson did. So the car business, it's very ripe for change. We're excited at GM. Of course, we have something now called shopclickdrive.com, which if after you do your research, you identify that you're looking to buy a Chevy or GMC, Cadillac, or Buick, you can go to shopclickdrive.com and actually do your process all online. You can see what's in inventory in your local dealers. You can select the car. You can do the financing online. You're going to buy it or lease it. You can do the price negotiation to make sure it's within your budget. You could even have the car delivered to your driveway and sign for it at your front door if you wanted to. Now, you and I are car guys. I think it's more important, and I think you would agree, that you have to do a test drive. So maybe do all the business part online, but still go into the dealership to do a test drive.
So what would you recommend to be the steps? Do the test drive first and then do the online transaction?
No, I think the first and most important step is to be very honest with which vehicle you are going to go shopping for. I think the biggest source of buyers' regret or remorse comes from, buying a vehicle that you didn't need, whether it's you needed better fuel efficiency, but you bought something with too much power, or you thought you needed 7 seats and you really only need 4. So first thing is really looking how you're going to use the car and finding the car that best meets those needs. And then then that's the time you get online and start to do the research. And I also suggest kind of throwing away your impressions of certain brands and starting fresh. The average car, on the road today is over 11 years old. So that means a lot of people have not been to a car dealership in a decade. And as you and I know, Javi, cars have really changed a lot. Certain brands which have always been very strong are starting to struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
And other brands which maybe 10 years ago weren't so good are now very strong. So just kind of start over, use the internet to find whatever brand vehicle that has the kind of car that you think that's going to best meet your needs. And then once you do all that research and you find the 2 or 3 that you think are best, then that's when you go out and actually test drive the vehicle.
Yeah.
So I think that's the smartest way. It's all about reducing that regret after the fact.
Yeah, you talk about the 11-year average age of the cars out on the streets, and I think Buick has a pretty smart commercial about it, because someone shows up in a new Buick and people say, that's not a Buick. And you're right. A lot of people don't really know how much the cars have changed in these past 10 years. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just the technology underneath the skin, but it's mostly the technology inside the car. To have the ability to to have satellite navigation is a crazy idea to a lot of people out there, even though that technology's been around for a long time now. So, if you're back in the marketplace in 2015. I think you're going to be pretty excited and happy with what you find. So,
James, you mentioned that all GM dealerships are into this program. I mean, and how does, I guess there's been a lot of training, because us as consumers have bad habits. I mean, car dealership salespeople have bad habits too. So what has been the process for training all the sales force at the GM dealership?
Well, we've got a whole team of specialists that we send out to all of our dealerships around the country, mostly to really focus on making sure that we can explain correctly some of the new technology in vehicles to new customers. But when it comes to the shop-click drive system, basically when you go to that website, you start a shop-click drive, and then it connects you to the local dealer. Now, the dealer is notified that this customer is coming through the shop-click drive system. Therefore, they know that this is a person who's technically savvy, who is looking to, make a smarter process, to make a smarter deal, and generally they will assign one of the better salespeople to work in that environment, because they know that this is a person that is looking to do things a little bit differently.
Yeah, and so once you go to the website, you get you're a code or some kind of confirmation that you're looking for a specific vehicle, and that's the actual car that's going to be there. They're not going to be we just sold that one, it's not here anymore, or any of those games that we know that still happen in some places.
Well, we hope that doesn't happen, and we haven't seen many instances of that. But no, the process is such that you're actually reserving that vehicle. You're saying, this is the one that I want, and let's go ahead. Because you can actually do the financing and the purchase process online, you're really closely tied to that vehicle. So it's a much more tighter kind of association than it is just to say, oh, I'm interested in a red Camaro, and then you go in and all the red ones are gone.
Yeah. Okay. So, and once you get there and you already reserve that car, I'm assuming that there's going to be still some kind of sales pitch for options, for packages, or something like that, because it's part of the dealership business too, right? People should expect that too.
Well, not really, because in shop-click drive, like I said, you can have the vehicle delivered right to your door.
Oh.
You can sign for. Yeah, you're really starting the process on that particular vehicle. So. Now, again, I suggest going to the dealership at some point and still test driving it. But if you don't need to test drive it, you could say, I want that red Camaro, and that red Camaro will come right to your door, sign the papers, and it's yours.
That's amazing. We're talking to James Bell, Head of Consumer Affairs for General Motors. And the website, again, it's what, James?
shopclickdrive.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time again, and it's a pleasure to talk to you always. And I'm going next week to drive to see the 2016 Chevy Camaro. So maybe after I see it and I review on it, some people will go and reserve it on this website.
I think that's the perfect plan. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Have a great day.
Okay. Bye.
Este programa fue una producción de National Latino Broadcasting.